I actually did it. I did beat my lightning Bankai, and it was a really hard fight. It was not easy, and I will never be doing that again. Not rerolling off lightning, keeping it. Yeah. So if you want to see proof of it, I'm not gonna pop my Bankai because it has like a 1 hour cooldown. But my skills are right here, Grand Current and Grand Relay. And this video is mainly just going to be like a highlight of me actually getting it. But I do also want to give tips on the people who are fighting it, because I was streaming it yesterday, and if you want to tune into like future streams, feel free to subscribe and like the video. But I was streaming the fight yesterday, and I've seen like a good amount of people inside the chat saying, bro, I'm like doing the same thing as you, this fight is hard, how do people beat it? And as somebody who beat it, I might as well just give out like some free tips with it. So the thing to get out of the way for the lightning Bankai fight is that everything might be different for each person who's watching this video. So I'll just start off with the instances for me. For me, what I had for my lightning Bankai fight was Ichigo's inner world, where it's like a parallel of two buildings across each other. And that inner world is a very narrow, linear path inner world, which means I don't have a lot of space to run. Another thing to note is that for my Bankai fight, I had to do it with Scythe. And if you look at my Scythe's critical attack, it doesn't lunge me forward. And it also doesn't have that much distance. I've used my critical multiple times inside my fight, and it's missed almost every single time. My critical is terrible for this fight, so I just want to also note that out there. And the third part is going to be the builds that I'm using. So I guess I'll just start off with some basic information that you're going to want to know. You will most likely have, actually no, you will have to use your actual Shikai skills to fight it. So if you're unlucky enough to have a Scythe like me during this fight, or if you're unlucky enough to have a weapon that doesn't have that good of a critical for the fight, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to actually use it, and it's just something that you're going to have to accept. The things that you need for this fight are going to be all of your Shikai skills, all of them except Blitz maybe. You're definitely going to need Fulgora and Barrack, so make sure that you're using your Shikai for this fight. Another thing to note is that I actually beat this with Keto. So I'll just have a video up on the screen of one of my multiple attempts fighting it. Realistically, I beat it on my 78 try on stream. It's just that sometimes on my map, you can glitch out the world with Fulgora. Yeah, you wouldn't think that. Imagine beating it and then you glitch out the world.
Embarrassing!
But actually, I did beat it on my 92nd try, if we're not counting me beating it and then glitching out the world. So it took me 92 tries to beat this, and it is going to be trial and error. But the one thing that you really need to know for this fight is that you're going to have to constantly keep the pressure on the boss. You have like 1 to 2 seconds of breathing room before the lightning boss uses either Grand Relay or Grand Current, and those skills do so much damage. Once you get hit with I think it's Grand Relay, the skill that does the multiple shots on you, the run is probably going to be over. It's like a 70% chance that the run's going to be over. But you do want to keep pressure on this boss, and I feel like if you use Keto with your Shikai moves, you can actually beat it. And I also want to note that the fight is mainly going to be complete RNG. I've had runs where the boss seems to parry everything, and I've also had runs where the boss didn't parry, which is one of the lucky runs that I got where I actually beat it. Okay, so I'm actually gonna like review the footage while I'm also fighting it. So I guess it's like I can talk and show you some of the things that I was experiencing. But as you can see with my inner world, it is very linear and it's not the best. But for this fight, I'm telling you, the thing that you want to do is constantly keep pressure on the boss. I'm also going to play the footage at the end without me talking over it, so it's not like you can watch it in its full entirety because I'm going to be pausing here. But this is how I start off every run. I start off with High-End. And if you're wondering what skill High-End is, it's the fourth skill inside my inventory, which is like a gigantic flame pillar, which is what you're seeing right here. And you will see what I'm going to do next. After I'm done using High-End, I usually do like 2 M1s into Fulgora. Now, the reason as to why I'm doing Fulgora is because it does a lot of damage. And right after you're done doing Fulgora, you want to use your Z skill. Now keep in mind, your run will not go out exactly like mine. This is just how I start off all my fights. So I'll just continue playing it now. So I think I also want to highlight this right there. The boss tried to use like the Grand Relay skill, or just the skill that does a Thunderbox. And since I was in front of his face hitting it, the thing with Thunder Bankai is that if you hit the user before they use a skill, the skills don't have hyper armor, so the skill is going to get stopped. So that's why I use my Z skill, and I'm also telling you to constantly keep the pressure on the boss, because the main thing that you don't want it to do is to use any of these two skills. They do so much damage, and if you get hit by both of them, the run is most likely over. But yeah, I'm constantly keeping pressure on the boss. I'm using my critical. And then I start to use Gaki Rekko, which is that green barrage move, and I run away and I spam my R. Now keep in mind, my critical is bad. If you have a better critical with your Shikai, this will be easier. Because if you just look right here, my critical actually missed right in front of the boss's face. So, see this? I'm going to back up a little bit, and then look at this. My critical missed right in front of his face. My critical was very bad for this fight, but I also constantly use my Z and C skills inside of my Shikai just to keep the pressure coming up on the boss. I'm telling you, another thing to also note during this fight is you want to use high-end whenever it's off cooldown, and you want to save your Danku, which is going to be like a gigantic iframe wall with Kido, for whenever the boss is hitting you with either Grand Relay or Grand Current. And those skills are pretty much the skills that, you know, actually kill you. And I'm also using Sokatsui. Sokatsui is really just to ragdoll the boss, so I have more time to Q dash away and possibly use my critical against it. And the second I use Danku, I use Heavenly Cannon so that I can constantly keep the pressure on the boss, and that actually ragdolls the boss. So I'll just continue playing the clip. I use Fulgora, and then I use Gaki Rekko. So one thing that you're like probably seeing is I'm cycling through all my skills, but I'm not pressing Blitz. And look, I actually ended up getting hit by the Thunder skill, and look at my HP. I got down to 60% by getting hit by one skill. You have to constantly keep pressure. If you are able to land around 3 high-ends on the boss, and you're still alive, you have a very good chance of beating it. So as you can see right here, I'm still putting pressure on the boss. I finally use Blitz, and I also use Sokatsui to constantly ragdoll the boss. And then the boss was actually dead. So as you can see, my strategy where it's like constantly keeping pressure on the boss and using my high-end and all my skills off cooldown actually worked for it. Now I was really hyped and I like clicked on it because I didn't want the boss to actually, I just didn't want to disconnect mid fighting the boss. But my fight wasn't even that long. In general, it was like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I'm going to play the fight in like its full entirety at the end of the video. But that's essentially what I did for my Bankai boss fight. So yeah, keep in mind, my world was bad and my critical is bad, so you might have it even better than me. And if you do have it better than me, then this fight should honestly be nothing for you. The fight is hard. Do not get wrong, the fight is definitely hard. I would say on like a scale of difficulty out of 10, I'm putting this fight at like an 8 to like an 8.5, because on the multiple runs where I've died, it's like you don't have room to mess up, and if the boss hits you with one-on-one, it's as if you're stunned forever. But in turn, it ended up to me getting my Bankai, and yeah, I don't regret it at all. Lightning Bankai is so much fun. I'm going to be trying out builds with it. I might go Haku to Lightning Bankai because I see like nobody has done that yet. Is like lightning users literally always just go speed. So I'm gonna try out Hakuda with it. But outside of that, hopefully you did enjoy this video. If the video helped you and it was interesting, feel free to like and subscribe, because I'm gonna be constantly uploading type of soul content. I also want to stream me just like boss raiding with my Bankai, because genuinely playing this game is just so much fun. But the fight's gonna be at the end of the video in like all of its entirety, and hopefully you did enjoy watching this video, and thanks for watching.